Pokémon Champions is great. Anyone saying it's actually a bad game should not be taken seriously because Pokémon Champions does what it needs to do. It makes competitive Pokémon more accessible, and it's an official place for Pokémon battles. That's all it ever needed to be, and it works at doing that while also improving so many aspects of the game. The training is actually fun. You just kind of see all the moves a Pokemon can learn right here. No fishing for TMs, no trying to figure out breeding chains or anything like that, or having to use external websites to just know what your Pokemon does. And then EVs and IVs aren't annoying anymore, and no, it doesn't matter that IVs are just set to 31 now. 0 IVs don't affect the game at all, it just means less annoying Trick Room, which isn't healthy, and 0 attack shenanigans for foul play, which even Wolfglick says doesn't matter. There's no less strategic diversity, we're not losing anything from competitive Pokemon with these small little changes. If anything, it only makes the game better. And then, going back to the accessibility part, it's not only, hey, you don't have to know how breeding and stuff works, you just put the numbers down and run your Pokemon, but there's a lot of information that the game makes available to you in a really nice way. So if you've always been confused by like how natures work, just take a moment to look at how this functions. Something that might trip people up is serious, like, well, why would I do something that's minus attack, plus attack? How does that even work? It's just a neutral nature. Sometimes it matters, but for the most part, you just go, okay, I'm using a special attacker. Do I want to be fast, or do I want to do more damage? Modest if you want to do more damage, timid if you want to be fast. There you go, you're now finally learning competitive Pokemon. Hidden abilities are no longer hidden and annoying and stupid to get. You just build your Pokemon, and now you're ready to play. Pokémon Champions captures what competitive Pokémon is about. You train, build, battle, you're having fun while doing it, and so far the system is pretty clean. I don't like the items, and moving Pokemon around sometimes kind of gets weird and fiddly compared to the main series game, but it's like a little bit of a learning curve. I think everyone will eventually get used to it. And then, the rest of it is also just really clean. I need to use the quick menu more. This is everything you need for Pokemon, and this just makes it nice and seamless to just get out there and do Pokemon battles. So we can even check out some other stuff like the sub-menu, which is really helpful. The gameplay guides, it's not, oh, only noobs need to go here that are completely lost. It actually explains things about the game. We finally have a Pokemon game with type matchups built in. Whoa! Did you know that Grass-type Pokemon are immune to Leech Seed or moves involving Powder? Did you know Powder is a sub-classification of moves? Fire types can't be burned, electric types can't be paralyzed, flying types are immune to spikes, toxic spikes, and sticky web status. And then you can just find out all the little basics, and they even have advanced stuff. And you can also see changes. By the way, they nerf paralysis. That's got to bump this game up by like 0.25 of a score, because it's 1 in 8 chance for full paralysis instead of 1 in 4. Frozen got nerfed, Asleep got nerfed. You can't be asleep longer than 2 turns. So first turn you're asleep, second turn 1 in 3 chance to wake up, third turn guaranteed wake up. Unless you're using rest. Rest is still the same. Now, the game's still a little undercooked because competitive Pokemon is incredibly deep and complex, so we don't have all of the move classifications. They just kind of give us an example of powder and sound-based moves, but it would be good if we could learn about, like, bullet moves and a lot of the other weird and niche interactions that happen inside the game. But at least it explains. At least it kind of breaks down, hey, there's other things going on inside of battle that have keywords. So at least the game tells you Shadow Ball is a ball and bomb move, but it doesn't completely hold your hand and say, oh, this interacts with the bulletproof ability or something like that. And look, we actually have numbers. 20% chance of lowering the target's special defense stat instead of it just saying, has a chance to lower, may cause the opponent to flinch. You can actually get all the numbers of how the game works now. So Pokémon Champions has cleaned up a lot, and anyone expecting that this system needed to work 110% flawlessly out of the gate is just being way too entitled, or they never wanted to enjoy Pokémon Champions to begin with. But what about the game being pay to win and horrible for free to play? It isn't. The game has tons of achievements that give you victory points. There's also a lot of missions, and if you do the training stuff, you get a good amount of starter items. There's different kinds of items to help you out. Like, you can be completely fine as a free player, or at the very least, just get the $10 starter pack if you want to take competitive Pokemon seriously. It's not a bad thing at all, and the free battle pass, if you actually take a look at it, oh, it just kind of goes on for a while and gives you tons of victory points. That's how I have 25,000, and I was able to do this in the first day. If anything, the premium pass doesn't give enough stuff to justify the cost. Oh no, they paywalled Mega Feraligatr. I mean, you can just have the 2,000 victory points after Battle Pass level 36, and you can get it slightly later. Oh no. 30 box spaces might sound terrible, but if you're just starting out or getting into competitive Pokemon, it's definitely enough, and the game gives you free box space. So you might say, well, you bought the premium pass, so you have 1,000 box spaces. Of course you say there's no problem with the boxes, but I got bonus box spaces from ranking up. So you get 5 at Great Ball rank, 5 at Ultra Ball, and then 10 at Master Ball. So I haven't even tapped into my 1,000 from the membership, and I got the membership instead of the starter pack, and I've had no problems, and now I'm just swimming in victory points, and I guess I should be recruiting more Pokemon more often. That the recruitment feature, I think this is a good, fun way to get people into competitive Pokemon. Look at that, we got all these quick tickets, we have all these extra victory points, and we can now see a selection of Pokemon that we might have not had access to, depending on our games, or depending on what we have in Pokemon Home. Darn. No shiny. Pokemon Legends Arceus is a terrible game I never want to play again. So, there we go. I grinded, I can use my tickets and stuff, I can save victory points with the permanent recruitment tickets that you just get, and then, look at that, we now have Hisuian Arcanine, which me, as someone that has played tens of thousands of hours of Pokemon, has an almost full Pokemon bank, has bought every Pokemon game, just got something that was otherwise difficult for me to get. Sure, it was RNG, but the recruitment actually is fun, and I think it's also nice to encourage players to try something else. That if you're just like, I'm only using Charizard and Gengar, and no other Pokemon beyond Gen 1 exists to me. Oh, this game sucks, by the way, because of that, because everything's new and overpowered. It's like, come on. You gotta open up a little bit. You gotta respect what Pokemon is about, and you have to let yourself enjoy Pokemon battles. And if you do that, then this game actually turns out to be amazing. Just let yourself have fun, and you will have fun, and then you're going to feel great from the gameplay loops. Oh, I did a recruitment. I probably, recruited a Fire-type Pokemon that completes a mission or something, or gives us all this other stuff. There's even rerolls for the missions. I didn't even notice that. So, recruit a Pokemon. That was my 5th recruitment. I just got 2,000 victory points back. You got daily missions as well, so... Oh, it encourages... Oh my goodness, this is why everyone hates it. What Pokemon Champions exposes is that Pokemon, quote-unquote, fans actually hate Pokemon. You can't get them to play the game, or they piss and moan about it. So when you have a game like Pokemon Champions that encourages you to play and rewards you for playing, the Pokemon community has to hate it. And I also encourage people to have their own fun inside the game. Like, we have trainer achievements, so you can go for this kind of stuff. Like, yeah, it actually is rewarding, and you do get bonus rewards if you want to be a specific kind of trainer. That, oh, win 50 battles using normal-type Pokemon. If you do that, you get a couple more victory points. You can just dedicate and all in for your favorite Pokemon. Win 100 battles with Typhlosion. Yeah, 500 victory points isn't a lot, especially for 100 battles, but you can get a gold Typhlosion badge and be a Typhlosion professor. Isn't that cool? Now, it might take a lot of battles to even get 10 or 50 wins, but you can actually set your own goals inside this game. And again, that's something I really encourage. Like, okay, do the missions, do the goals, recruit Pokemon, and then let yourself have fun, and the game is there for you to have fun. That's why I say Pokemon Champions is good. The gameplay loop of just do Pokemon battles, accumulate items and resources, and then turn around and make more Pokemon teams to do more Pokemon battles and train Pokemon more easily is satisfying. This is what competitive Pokemon needed, and if you played Pokemon Go in the past, download Pokemon Home. Move a couple of Pokemon from Go into Home so you have them ready for Pokemon Champions. So if you put in a little bit of extra work, you're not going to feel bad about the potential recruitment or not having the Pokemon that you want. And even inside of Pokemon Home, there's the GTS, or there's trading. So you can still get the Pokemon you're looking for inside of Home, move them into Champions, and you're good to go. So before you start complaining about, oh, everyone already has all their Pokemon and it's unfair, well, you have to put in the work that they did to get those Pokemon, or at least understand there's a lot more available to you than you know. You go into Pokemon Home, you look for Pokemon you're looking for on the GTS, or you trade for other Pokemon. If you've owned a single Pokemon game in the Nintendo Switch era, you have access to a lot of Pokemon, or again, trading and interacting with the Pokemon community. The only way you can dislike Pokemon Champions is if you never wanted to like Pokemon battles ever to begin with, or you have some kind of like ulterior motive or narrative that you're trying to push. Now, I will say that Pokemon Champions does have some problems I disagree with that are kind of substantial. I really don't like the tallying results, especially for like a new game like this. I wanted to know where I stood immediately with all the ranking, because Pokemon Home does that. Go into Pokemon Home, you see the trainer ranking from the start. The game actually tells you. One of the most exciting things about the Battle Stadium is when the season resets and you just try to rush back into Master Ball rank to get a really low rank. Like, it tells you, I was number 27 in the world in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Where was I being one of the first players to ever hit Master Ball rank in Pokemon Champions from scratch? I guess we'll just never know, because now I have to make videos and people are already 1900, but there's a case I was number 1 in NA or top 25 in the world when I hit my Master Ball rank. Unlucky. And I also think the shop is really weak right now, that I think it's a good idea to not introduce all of the items immediately, that little Timmy doesn't need to get one shot by Choice Band and Choice Specs the entire time. And even as an existing competitive player, I like the challenge of trying to like do different builds and make different team compositions with such limited item choices. But what upsets me is that there were items shown in the trailers. There were Pokemon and Megas shown in the trailers that aren't available on launch with the game. That feels kind of weird, and it feels like, you know, when you just have all these berries no one ever uses competitive. It's like, what? Do they understand what was going on here? There's not unevolved Pokemon anymore. And then when you see half of the available items are berries that no one uses competitively, it kind of feels like they're not taking it serious as a competitive game, even though like the rest of it shows that they are, with the classifications and how easy the training is and all that nice stuff. And then these items, like, man, maybe you could have had Life Orb. Life Orb isn't that great of an item to begin with, and it might be better for little Timmy just to feel some power and slap a Life Orb on their favorite Pokemon and try to hurt things. But again, I think Choice Band, Choice Specs might just be a little too much power a little too quickly. Megastones, there's a lot of Megastones. And then the clothing. I actually feel that Pokemon Sword and Shield spoiled us way too much, because the clothing, there's, like, what is it? We have a couple of basic designs and then a lot of colors, and it's, you can't make your trainer look cool or look as great as you want them to. And for me, the two biggest problems with the game that are actually WTF devs, what are you doing? This game might actually suck, is that there's very little battle music. Like, that's it. 3 battle songs, and the game did not launch with Pokemon Sword and Shield gym theme. That is the one thing you had to do, game. Actually, one of the 2 things you had to do, game. 1, Pokemon Sword and Shield gym leader theme. It's just music. Junichi Masuda just sold us a Game Boy that plays all the Gen 1 games, and you can't just put MP3 files into Pokemon Champions. Who cares if people would get upset where it's just like, oh, there's 20 things and they're 5,000 victory points each. I'll never get that many. Just buy like 2 of your favorite themes. But there's no selection to buy from, which is, that's unacceptable to me. That is actually like, how do you screw up that hard? Unacceptable. And the second thing is no battle replays. And that also goes back into the battle data being weirdly incomplete, but you need battle replays more than anything, so that way people can win a game, show their friends, and they get more people excited about competitive Pokemon. That's why the 3DS era was so hype, and 3DS era had more people playing competitive Pokemon and more engagement with competitive Pokemon than we have now with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, even though it took 10 times longer to get competitive Pokemon. People tried, they worked for it, and then they wanted to show off their cool stuff, and that is lost with having no battle replays. And I also think that having rental teams is one of the most, like, disgusting mistakes that Game Freak has ever made. All it does is make the meta more stale and the hacking problem larger, because people just hack all the powerful Pokemon into a team, and then lazy, entitled people that don't want to play the games or work for anything just use it and spam it, and then they go, oh man, this game sucks. This is the plague that needed to be purged from Pokemon, especially with how easy the training is in Pokemon Champions. Like, yeah, maybe you could just kind of show team sheets, and then people can go, oh, cool, I like the ideas that you have there, I'll go make it myself. And then that's at least not going to make it to where, oh, it's just the same team of hatched Pokemon that are shiny that everyone's using, and it also kind of gives more room where, oh, you know what, I don't like this move, or I want to change around these things. So rentals have ruined competitive Pokemon more than anything, and then not having battle replays so people can get excited about their accomplishments inside the game is just the biggest fumble from Game Freak in the Switch era. And I am baffled that that is something that continued with Pokemon Champions, where we needed battle replays the most. And then once again, like, the battle songs, really? I can only buy 3? And it's just trainer battles and not the actual bops inside the game? Where is the Team Star Leader theme? Come on. So, yeah, like, there's some things to be upset about, but does it ruin the game? No. Is the gameplay loop still fun? Is training, building, and battling at its best right now in Pokemon Champions? Really seems like it. And then you just go out, have fun, and maybe we'll see where all this stuff goes. And then again, kind of like not showing ranking and stuff seems like a fumble, and going from Master Ball rank to Champion rank, that's going to be, like, interesting. And I hope a lot of people, they get addicted. They find their achievements. They're like, yo, I'm out of Pokeball tier. I'm surprised I'm in Ultra Ball tier. I might stick around and play a dozen more hours, or maybe just, like, turn this into my competitive game I just put most of my time into. And I think Pokemon Champions has a good foundation for that, and it's only going to get better. I imagine we're going to get a major update that, like, fixes a lot of issues fairly quickly, and then the mobile version might be, like, the true vision of this game that has all kinds of crazy stuff in it. But at the end of the day, it's just Pokemon battles. Like, this is all you need for good Pokemon battling platform. I think it's good that we don't have any of this being overbloated. It's train, box, battle, get your stuff. Good luck, have fun. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.